Hello, thank you for joining me on Humanities Radio. I'm Jana Cunningham with the University of Utah College of Humanities. Today, I'm speaking with Kalli Glauser, a student leader from the Office of Undergraduate Research and a history major. The U is constantly developing cutting-edge research in all areas across campus, from finding a cure to cancer to understanding the complexities of the society we live in. Students may think research is just something their professors do, but actually there are many opportunities for undergraduates to take advantage of, and Kalli is here to talk about them. Kalli, first of all, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
What is the role of a student leader in the Office of Undergraduate Research?
Yeah, so it's really cool. I'm actually a liaison to multiple colleges on campus, including humanities as well as fine arts and architecture and planning. So basically, my job is to make sure that students who are participating in undergraduate research have all the support that they need, as well as helping future undergraduate researchers find different opportunities and get connected with professors and things like that. Mainly, I do advising appointments, and I read over students' proposals and just kind of help bridge that gap between the student experience and the researcher experience, because obviously it's intimidating. The other thing that I do is I'm actually our department's IRB specialist. So anybody who's doing any kind of human subject research, I kind of help them with that process, because it is a little bit confusing to kind of know how to navigate all of that. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of what I do. But yeah, our whole goal is just to make sure that everybody has a successful experience doing research here.
So before we get into talking about the opportunities and resources available through your office, explain a little bit why undergraduate students should get involved in research.
Yeah, I think that people need to look at it as an opportunity to actually participate in their field. I think it's really stressful as an undergraduate to be asked to know what you want to do for your career for the rest of your life, and having experience in your field actually doing what you think you're interested in is invaluable. I think that it really kind of clarifies to people what it is that they actually want to do. Another great thing is obviously it looks great on a resume, which we all love, and it helps you be competitive for grad school or whatever other plans you have after you graduate. And then obviously you make really good connections with faculty, which, especially if you're sticking in the field that you end up doing research in, can help you for the rest of your career to have, opportunities in other aspects. So
who is eligible? What do you have to do to be eligible to do research as an undergraduate student?
Yeah, so obviously you must be an undergraduate. We require that students be enrolled in at least 12 credits, so a full-time student. And they can't be on academic probation. But besides that, we accept proposals from all areas. I think it's important to note that while people traditionally think of research as something done in the STEM field, it is available to all students. Since the university is a Tier 1 research institution, almost all faculty members are currently participating in some sort of research. So I feel like some people don't think that they can participate, but there's opportunities in every discipline. So
what are those opportunities, and what are the steps that students can do to get involved in research?
Yeah, I always say the first thing is to just talk to a professor. If there's a class that you really loved or a specific topic that you were taught that you think is interesting, then that's really the first step, especially because within UROP, it's required that you work with a faculty member. So it's important to have a relationship with them and kind of know what they're doing their research on. The UROP website also has a search bar, so you can see what research opportunities have been posted on that, which is a good resource if you're a little bit nervous to talk to your professors. So those are the two things that I always say to people. The other thing that I don't think people realize is that your research can be interdisciplinary, and it can even be in a discipline that you're not majoring in. My research, I'm a history major, but some of my research almost borders into sociology. And I know a lot of people who are like bio majors, but do things that are specifically for chem or whatever kind of thing. So yeah, there's many opportunities to do what you think is interesting, and you're not limited in the ways that I think people think they are. So, the other thing is that the deadline for UROP for the spring semester is November 1st, and you have to write and submit a proposal. So that's something to keep in mind. You can't just, sign up. It is a process and an application. So
the sign up process, is that on the website?
Yeah, it is. If you go on the website, there's a how to get started page, and it kind of talks you through the whole thing. And also gives you example proposals, so you kind of know what proposals look like in your specific, I don't know, college, because it's obviously like a STEM, like a biology one is going to be different than an English one. So
what types of research are humanities students doing that you see our students doing?
Yeah, there's a couple of really cool ones that are going on right now. Within history, Eliza McKinney last year helped Professor Clement do research on HIV/AIDS in Utah and the way that the gay community responded to that. So that was really interesting. In the communications department, Brooks Bergman is currently working on rhetorical analysis of the rhetorics of white nationalist groups that use like whole identitarianism to justify their ideologies, which is obviously very interesting. Another person is Rachel Griffin. She's a Chinese major, and she's working with existing literature from the Qing dynasty to argue that Chinese women at the time were actually like integral to the community and that they were a part of social and cultural movements of the day. There's multiple ones in English and philosophy as well. I could go on, but yeah, I don't know, I always get excited when I get to read about the proposals that our students are doing because it's just fascinating. So
what advice would you give students who feel intimidated or overwhelmed about getting involved in research?
Yeah, I think the main thing is that research is something that everybody can do. And the first step is just kind of asking around and getting started, you know. Obviously it's scary, but I always just say talk to the professors that you have a relationship with. They're a great resource, and most of the time they're really excited to help you. So just kind of talking about this kind of studies that are currently going on. The other thing is just ask yourself, what are you interested in? Like, what makes you excited when you think about what you're studying or about the world? And that's definitely what you should be putting your time into researching. The thing that's awesome is that UROP has a $1,200 stipend that they award students if they are accepted into the program, which is great because it makes it accessible to everybody. And I mean, like, the last thing that I'd say, if you're worried about getting involved, is that there are so many departments here on campus that are here to help you. Obviously, the Office of Undergraduate Research is here for you, the College of Humanities, your own department, even the library. The library has tons of resources for humanities students, which I feel like is often overlooked. So yeah, basically everybody here wants you to be successful. So just take the first step and everybody else will help you get there.
That's great advice. You talked a little bit about your own research, but could you give us a little bit more or give us some more details about your research and how the Office of Undergraduate Research has supported you?
Yeah, so my research, I mean, obviously I think it's incredibly interesting. I was working with Professor Clement, but it actually was my own project, and I researched Utah women during the 60s and 70s and their attitudes towards contraception and family planning. I was really interested in seeing how women who grew up in a religiously conservative and politically conservative place kind of dealt with those kinds of topics, especially when the national sentiment at the time was shifting with birth control being legalized and second wave feminism and the sexual revolution. So yeah, it was so interesting, and I did a bunch of oral histories and things like that. So I loved it. And I don't know, it was hard, I will admit, to do research. I never really thought about all the things that had to go into it. But like you asked, I felt like I had so much support from both my department, the history department, and the Office of Undergraduate Research. Leslie is in charge of the Office of Undergraduate Research, and she was incredibly helpful in kind of talking to me about ways to sort of engage with other professors who might be knowledgeable about my subject as well. Also, the office offers travel grants, which kind of helped me because I needed to go to St. George, and so they paid for part of that.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that's also available to anybody, travel and small grants, even if you're not doing UROP. If you're doing research, you can apply for those. So I think a small grant is $250, and then a travel grant is up to $500, which are available to everybody. And then my own department was obviously incredibly helpful as well. So I'm lucky in both of those aspects that I had that. So,
Kalli, thank you. This was really great information, and information that I'm not sure all students are aware of. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Yeah, of course.
That was Kalli Glauser, a student leader from the Office of Undergraduate Research. For more information about student research, please visit our.utah.edu.